In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Good day, everyone. Nestor Licanto here with another segment of In Full Zoom. Today we're going to talk about the tourism industry, in particular the recovery update that GVB has been working on. And it's really my pleasure to introduce three of the top guys in the industry. First of all, of course, former Governor Carl P.C. Gutierrez. Good day, Governor.
Good morning, Nestor and Jason.
And Carl, of course, is the president of the GVB. The vice president is another familiar face, Mr. Gerry Perez. Good day, Gerry.
Hi, good morning.
And last but not least, one of the board members, the vice chairman of the board, as a matter of fact, Mr. Milton Morinaga. Good day, Milton.
Good day, good morning.
All right, Governor, let me just start with you and give us, I guess, where are we at with respect to the tourism industry? What's the latest?
Well, you know that we had been in the past very hopeful about moving forward and having the tourist industry open up, and we did that in July. But the problem was that the three source markets, Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan, were not ready to put us on their list to send their tourists to us or even out of their country. And so we were just working very hard and trying to make sure that we send the message out that we are a safe destination and that we have every protocol in place to keep us safe and to make them safe. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out in a continued way that way, and we are now facing a very dire situation where we're pretty much up in the numbers right now, where we're making even international news that we are kind of out of the park in the way that we have spiked. And so Gerry and the GVB crew and I have been trying to see what we can do from inside to be able to get the message out to the people that that we need to be able to do our part to be able to bring down this number, flatten the curve. If we are ever to see any kind of tourists coming to Guam, or even having the opportunity to continue to market Guam, that we're safe. And I know that the people we deal with at the GVB here are the people that are the stakeholders in the industry, and they are up in arms. Some of them are, of course, protesting, and to try to change the executive orders and to open up more businesses. However, that's none of our call. We are under the guidance of the governor and the Department of Public Health and Social Services. And we're trying to get the message out that let's do our part. Whether you don't like the governor's decision, but you can never, change her mind if we are going to be at odds and be polarized. And that was the message we're trying to get out to people. Let's just do what the governor's asking us to do and see how that pans out, and trying to educate the public that we all need to be able to get serious about when they tell you to lock down and do social distancing, wear your mask and wash your hands. It's not just a game we're playing. And I hope that the people of Guam realize that, and GVB will do its part in helping the governor and public health get that message out that this is serious. If we are going to get people back to work, we got to do our part so that it would allow GVB to open up.
All right. And Gerry, as the governor alluded to, it's important that we manage people's expectations. So what should we expect?
Following up on the governor's comments there, Nestor, let me just go back a little bit and just recap basically what GVB was doing and what we are doing now because of the spike in COVID. Initially, while we were still under 2% positivity rate, and we really were still doing well, the role that GVB took as a marketing arm for the island is to continue messaging in our source markets to create aspirational images of Guam so that they keep us top of mind when they start traveling. At the same time, if you recall, we were also trying to work with the different source markets to try to generate a bubble kind of a quarantine relationship, which never really materialized for other reasons that I won't go into detail at this time. So initially, the emphasis was marketing Guam, keeping Guam top of mind in the minds of our source markets. What has happened in the last couple of weeks has been this alarming spike in COVID. So instead of focusing attention on marketing messages for Guam and aspirational travel to Guam, we basically pulled back at the direction of the governor, Carl Gutierrez, and the board, and refocus our attention to solving this problem. And what can we do as GVB to solve this problem? So what we've done is we've shifted away from marketing the island and creating this image to, as I call it, doing what we can underneath the hood to facilitate and enable the solution to this problem. Because at the end of the day, we need to reduce the positivity rate of COVID. And we need to go back to 0 deaths. I mean, it's very, very sad to see this thing happening. So philosophically, we're not so much concerned now with the messaging on getting Guam back to the economy that it enjoyed, as much as working with the health community stakeholders to solve this problem. And we're doing that by actually enabling and facilitating a variety of meetings for different interest groups and different individuals with a stake in this thing to roll out a contact tracing app that the governor will be expected to announce tomorrow. So what we're doing is priming the message, so to speak, you know, Nestor, so that when the governor makes the announcement on this contact app tracing tool, that we have maximum impact and maximum adoption of the app that would go a long ways to help us with our contact tracing, because this is not replacing contact tracing, but it's a tool that can really make contact tracing more effective. And so that's where the energies and resources of GVB currently are devoted to. So that's what I meant by when I said that you might not be seeing a lot of messaging from GVB and marketing and that sort of thing, because our resources are internalized to facilitate and enable the people who can solve this problem. And to that point, the people who can solve this problem is the people of Guam, not us at GVB, or not, you know, the hotels or the airlines. It's the people of Guam. And so that's the focus of our energy and our effort right now, is working to maximize participation by the people on Guam who will be the ones to solve this problem. And so that's kind of, in a long-winded way, explaining where we are with the tourism part of our business.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc. GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information. In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Milton, you know, it's clear from what the governor and what Gerry have been saying is that we really first need to solve the health issue, the pandemic crisis first. But beyond that, once that is under control, what do you think about calls to reimagine the tourism industry? Guam has always been known, as you know, as more of a, for its price and proximity, if you will. Well, what do we need to, we need to reimagine how we're going to be selling Guam to visitors beyond the pandemic? Milton, you there? Did lose Milton?
My voice wasn't there.
Oh,
Okay, yeah. So the thing is, you know, we got to do our own cleanup first. And our cleanup is like the governor and Gerry has said, and everybody's saying is we got to clean our own house. You know, we cannot invite people without with a house that's dirty. Okay, it's a mess. And right now, you know, unfortunately, we have a spike and all that. And people in Guam, people in Korea, people in Japan, they're all watching us. They're watching how safe we are. As soon as we can declare that we are safe and we are taking all measures to how to trace people, how to isolate people, the medical facility is intact and everything is A-okay, people will travel. But the people, like for instance, Okinawa having the same problem. They have a spike. So to them, they can lock people out, okay? And Hawaii, looks what's happening. They're spiking every day. Now they have a real strict protocol where if you're caught at the beach, you're fined $5,000. We're not at that stage yet. But at least they are panicking. They're in a panic mode. So they are managing this issue with all their might. They can take care. But people are watching. So the news from Japan, when they talk about Hawaii, is what are they doing? Is the news. They don't talk about the beach. They don't talk about the Diamond Head or whatever. But they talk about how safe or how not safe. Right, so Guam is luckily it's not in a big news yet saying how not safe Guam is. So that's good on our part. So as soon as we can get our act together and get things going, and this is everybody's problem, not only essential business or non-essential. This is everybody's problem. And if we can solve this, then we can recover this island quicker. And imagine the days where no mask, eating first-class food, and enjoying the travel, riding an airplane is not going to be the norm anymore. You're going to be like, I don't want to travel long haul anymore. I don't want to wear a mask for 8 hours, 6 hours. 3.5 hours is our destination. Our market, Taiwan, Korea, Japan is 3.5. That everybody can bear with it. And you can starve 3.5 hours. You can eat just minimum, right? But that's a market that we got to take care of. I'm not going to go after Europe or anywhere that's going to take long haul. You know, they have other, that's why even the European, they travel within their own continent, right? Japan, they're concentrating only in domestic right now because they think it's safe, but they too are very worried. They want to go to different prefecture that's safe, and they have a medical facility that's accommodating. But even right now, go-to travel campaign the government is doing, or go to eat, they're basically subsidizing restaurants and hotels for accommodation and money-wise. But they too say, okay, Tokyo, you have a big spike. I'm not going to accept you to use this coupon to travel within domestically too. So they have to contain their own on their own issue too. So they are busy correcting, resetting their issue. And if they can get that thing going, because they have a big target they got to meet is next year's Olympic. They got to clean up the issue in Japan domestically so that they can invite all the athletes and all that. But right now, they are still going to have the Olympic, but that's fine. But we got to get their economy going too, because they're the one they're going to spend money in Guam, right? Yeah. And Korea, same thing. They're waiting to travel. They're anxious to travel, but domestically, their own country. When you come back, you have fun outside. Great. When you come back, you're quarantined. That's their message that they're giving to the people, so they don't want to travel.
Yeah.
Actually,
yeah. Sure. Go ahead, Gerry.
Yeah, Nestor, I'd like to circle back to your conversation with Milton earlier about reimagining the destination. We've actually hosted like 2 webinars already and a third one coming. The first webinar actually focused on reimagining the destination and reimagining the new norms of this destination and highlighting the safety and hygiene security that needs to be embedded in our brand image. So A lot of people are involved in reimagining the destination so that it's a safe destination, not only for local residents, but for visitors coming to staying at our hotels and restaurants and so forth. So the first webinar had to do with reimagining Guam as a safe destination for travel to the very markets that Milton had alluded to. The second webinar we just concluded last week had to do with creating safe destination and living up to that reimagined destination that we had. And we had the governor speak on that. We had one of the hotel people speak about what they're doing at their hotels. And we had an industry person from GHRE talking about how to make your facilities safe. The third webinar that's coming up soon would have to do with using technology as a means to not only engage in fighting COVID, but also as a means to align ourselves with emerging technologies that relate to the travel and tourism industry. So that's kind of an overview on the three basic themes that our webinar has been pushing out.
Governor, if I can ask you, as you know, there are thousands of folks that lost their jobs or had their hours reduced as a result of essentially the shutdown of the tourism industry. What do you say to them as we continue to try and work our way back towards that? What's your message to them?
Well, fortunately and unfortunately, that the people that lost their jobs were kind of covered by the federal dollars that have come in here. But they have to start realizing now that if they don't do their part, we're not sure any more money is going to come in to carry them even further forward to alleviate the pain they would be suffering. And so the fact that they were kind of comfortable because of the monies they're getting on unemployment and some stimulus funds like that they may have not really walking up to the fact that it could get worse. And now that it's worse, because we were lax about it, that they would wake up and say, wow, if we don't get these numbers down and we don't do our part and the federal government does not send any more money, we're going to be in deep kimchi, as they would say in Japan or Korea, right? So there's the problem right there right now, is to get that message out. And Gerry is correct in trying to help the governor, help the Department of Public Health. And I know that I got some heat from businesses because my job was supposed to be to take care of the tourist industry here and the stakeholders. But if we don't just for the sake of yelling and bringing your displeasure out in the public, you know that if you can't change the governor's mind that way, we've got to find a better way to find a middle ground. And that's what we're trying to do, is you got to find that middle ground, because the governor is be willing. If we just sit ourselves down in some kind of a climate of agreement that we're going to try to understand each other's side and how they can play a major part also in the business community on how to impart to the people of Guam that we have to do our part. Just do our part for a couple of weeks and see whether we can flatten the curve. Then we can move forward. That's the message that we're trying to get GVB to get involved in carrying for the public health and the governor of Guam right now. And if we don't drum that in to the minds of the people of Guam, and we still have to contend with people that are polarizing the community further, then we're going to be moving forward in the long haul to be able to flatten the curve.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc. GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information. In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Yeah. Milton, let me ask you, as a representative of Ken Corp, which was the employer of many of these thousands who lost their jobs, What's your message to those employees as they wait for the tourism industry to revive itself? You know, the hotels are going to be there; they're not going anywhere. They're physical objects. Do you have a message for them? Should they be optimistic that we're gonna see a resurgence soon, or what would you say to them?
Well, the message that I need to send out is that it's like a pyramid scheme. If one person behave and start doing what the government says, like washing your hand, put your mask on, a hygiene protocol, and if they can send that message to people below them and to their family, to their children, it will go downward, and the entire population of Guam will start practicing that hygiene. Okay, we got almost 3,000 employees. Okay, so if that doubles and triples, then it will go out further. So it's very important that we send out a right message, saying that we're not saying that Guam is going downhill. We just have to say anything. We're in the bottom already. The only thing now is to improve, right? We're not hitting down, 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 down. We hit the bottom. We just have to get up. Okay, the airlines is all zero arrivals and everything. We hit the bottom. There's no bottom anymore. Now the only way is to improve. And to improve is everybody's effort. We're small enough that people can follow direction. If they can read and write and they understand, then they should follow. You know, stay home, that means stay home. Wash your hand, that means wash your hand. Not touch someone else with a dirty hand. It's hygiene, it's education from the bottom. The children gotta understand what's all about hygiene. And if the adult cannot practice that, then it won't happen. So that's, you know, I feel so bad that we cannot keep these people employed. And like the governor said, there was stimulus check, there was a lot of handout from the feds, but that's not gonna last. And once that don't last, then there's gonna be a frustration. And before they get frustrated, we have to be proactive, not reactive. You know, we're just reactive right now. We have to be proactive and get things going, okay? And nobody's invincible. Like everybody became a cliche already. It's not if anymore, it's when, right? And that's what's happening right now. You know, all this time we didn't have this much people pray for people who pass away, but you know, it's happening. It's increasing, and that didn't happen a month ago, but it's starting to increase. So we have to control ourselves, behaviors. There's a lot of people trying to say, like Gerry said, marching on the street, the governors. That's not going to help. If you have time to march, go clean up. Do something that's positive, not negative. That's my take.
Gerry, I saw you wanted to jump in.
Yeah, Nestor. I mean, Milton talked about being proactive. So actually, that's exactly what we're trying to do now, is because up to now, the community has been very, very reactive. You get a positive case and they react to that. You get a alarming trend, we're reacting to it. What we're doing proactively is finding a technology tool that can actually expedite and make more efficient this whole contact tracing issue. And so that's one way of us as part of the tourism industry, GVB, is becoming proactive in working with the people who can solve this. And the people are the health professionals and public health and those agencies that have to do the contact tracing. So in terms of what Milton was saying about being proactive, that's our other way of proactively facilitating and enabling the solution to this problem.
Yeah, and Governor, once this problem is licked, this pandemic is overcome, what's the recovery going to be like? Is it going to be gradual? Will it be pretty quick? And do you think we'll get back to where we were prior to the pandemic, which was anticipation of, you know, more record arrivals?
Fortunately, we have people in the source countries that are looking at the method and the strategies to get the people to put Guam first in their minds to travel. Avio reps. We're going to, on Friday, again, get on a Zoom conference, and they're going to give us further strategies, especially in Japan, on how to get Guam in the front of the line. And hopefully that we're going to still look and figure out what's the best way to, you know, because sometimes we're always the last one to, or we're forgotten, you know, when they start talking about destinations, they think Hawaii is the best place to do it. But with us, we've got to figure out how to get in the front of the line. And then that's what our representatives are helping to work with. And Milton, I'm very happy to know that as a member and vice chair of the board of GVB, he has been one of the more active ones in keeping in touch with the source markets and uncovering what's going on there. And so he gives us all of the various insights of what may be happening in their country so that we can tap into that. That's what we need to do, is to continue to stay on top of it with the people that represent us in those countries.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc. GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information. In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Yeah, we've only got a few minutes left, and let me just go around to each of you. Milton, I know you have something to say, but I just wanted to ask, so what is your vision of the future of the tourism industry? And go ahead, Milton, then I'll go to Gerry, and then we'll finish up with the governor.
Okay, the key factor here is we gotta bring the airlines back. Okay, without an airline to carry people into Guam, they're not gonna come. So we have to make it very easy for them to just tap into the airline, book the seat, and boom, contactless, you know, and they can just get themselves book the airlines and come here. Because right now, again, it's like starting the engine that's been dead in the garage for a long time. The battery's dead. You got to put in your key, right? So we got to start helping these people to turn on the key and give a boost on their battery, so the airline, LCC, food service carrier, everybody can start flying. And the airport is doing their best right now to make more accommodating for people to come with safety. Just was on the news yesterday, the Department of Health is working on how to deal with testing the people arriving. You know, we are gearing up. We're getting our house ready for people to come. But the airlines is the key too, the most key. Then we got to keep on, like the governor said. Thank you very much for the nice word. That you know, we need to contact all these airlines. Don't forget about us. I know you have other destinations, but we are here for you, kind of attitude. And I'll keep on pushing that to get the intel on the airlines business into Guam.
And Gerry?
Okay, under the heading of bad news and good news. The bad news is, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see a V-shaped recovery. That is going to be a gradual crawl out and hopefully start making inroads in the last of this year or first of next year, and gradually ramp up. That's the not so good news, the bad news. The good news is, to Milton's point earlier, the good news is that we are geographically positioned for 3 to 4 hour travel, and that has some appeal to our source markets in Korea, Japan, and Taiwan. Don't have to go 8 hours away. You can wear a mask for 3 or 4 hours. So that's kind of the bad news, good news message that I want to share.
All right, thanks, Gerry. Yes, the proximity is very critical for us. And Governor, final word to you.
Well, you know, short of having to wait for a vaccine, for example, because we don't know, that's up in the air, but we do have a way to be able to tap into some of the newer testing procedures and protocols that are coming out on the market. And if we can get one of those things that are acceptable to the source countries that we're getting them, I think that we should concentrate on that. And that's why the airport, public health, they're moving forward in the abilities to test at the airport. And we are wanting to move forward so that the hotels themselves can be part of the testing procedures, and private clinics can be able to be there also for testing procedures, and they can be empowered to do that and go to the hotels. That's what we need to do, is to make it very convenient for the potential travelers to come and have that reciprocity with the source countries.
All right, thank you very much. I think the message was very clear today, gentlemen, and that we need to get over this pandemic first, and then we can look forward to trying to rebuild our economy in a slow and gradual but successful way. Thank you very much for joining us, former Governor Carl Gutierrez, Gerry, Perez, and Milton Morinaga. I'm Nestor Licanto. Thanks for watching this edition of In Full Zoom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.